welcome. Today we're going to do a little sew along to Simplicity 3939, which is a dog coat pattern. There's 4 different views. Not sure where I put the envelope, but I'll put a picture. And there's 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large, and they tell you how to measure your dog. Usually it's from neck to tail or head to tail. Depends on what you're using. This is what we'll be making today. And I'll also pop up some pictures of my friend Jack modeling the one I made before this, which was a size medium. He's a Jack Russell mix and it fits him pretty good. It's still a little big, so for the Maltese I'm hoping the small will fit. That's what this one is. I haven't sent it over yet. It's just a little bit different. It's a little bit longer sleeves than the one I usually make, and it has bigger collar. And I used a stretch cotton for that. So feel free to join in and make one for one of your pets. Please be sure and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss my next video. Let's go sew that up. Okay, so we're going to be making Simplicity 3939, and we're going for view D, which is the Gucci Poochie. I've already done one in a size medium, and it seemed a little too big for the dogs I was making it for, so I cut out a small. So here's what you'll need. You can follow the diagram they give. I think it helps save fabric for cutting out. Okay. So I have, for this one it was pieces 8, 9, 10, and 11. I have 9, 8. And just be sure before you take your pattern piece off, whether you pin it or use weights, that you mark all the markings. This one comes, it says cut out, so you have to figure out that you actually have to cut it here and around. And mark all your notches and dots. So that's 8 and 9. I also use the cuffs from view A, where it says cut 4, I only cut 2 instead of a hem for the sleeves. And then you have piece 10, which will be the collar, and piece 11, which is the belly band. Okay, step 1 says hem each sleeve 1/2 inch. So if you're going to hem, you want to go ahead and hem your sleeves, fold them up 1/2 inch. Make sure you're using a stretch stitch on your sewing machine or a cover stitch if you have one. I do not. Step 2 looks like I don't even know what. So the diagram is not very helpful, and the instructions say sew the sleeves into each sleeve opening. Okay. If you've never sewn garments before, you wouldn't know how to even put a sleeve in, I would assume, and this is the only instruction you get on this page. There might be some on the other views that give a better instruction. Let me check. Well, one other step tells you that you would match the dots, which basically is what you do. It's like putting a puzzle together. So you're going to match the notches and put the sleeve in. But first, we're going to put our cuffs on. So I've taken my cuffs, and with jersey it's hard to tell the right side, so you can use a sticker. And then what you do is you fold it wrong sides together to create the crease. And you can try to get rid of the curl, but that's not always easy. And then you have that. Okay. Then you're going to take your sleeve. You're going to lay it right side facing up. And I forgot to make, what I'm going to do is you want to mark the center, because we're going to start at the center and stretch it out. So just going to take, fold it in half, give it a little clip, and we're going to go ahead and match up your notches. You can use a pin or a clip. And then what you're going to do is you need to stretch out the end to meet the end, so that when you're sewing, you'll be stretching the band just a little bit to fit it to the sleeve. And you can use a sewing machine with a zigzag or a stretch stitch. And they say to use a narrow zigzag when you need to stretch. So there's also another stretch stitch that looks like 3 dotted lines next to each other. If your sewing machine has that, that one is the best. It's a little slow, but it works. I'm going to use my serger today, even though I have white thread in there and it's not the best, but we're going to go ahead and get these cuffs on, and then we'll work on putting the sleeve into the main bodice. I'm going to press that seam up towards the sleeve. If you had used your sewing machine, you could press them open, but I always just press them up. So now we have our sleeve, and it has notches. There's our bodice. And here are these sleeve holes. So I'm assuming that this counts as the back, and this counts as the front. Usually the backs with sleeves, back has 2 notches, front has 1. So you have to match. And this one, the 1 notch is here and the 2 is here. So with right sides together, we want the 1 notch, to go there, and the 2 to go here. And there are dots. So there's a dot here. Let's do it this way. There's a dot here. And there'll be a matching dot here. So what we're going to do is take a pin and you're going to go through here and then come through here so they match up, and then just you can pin that in place just to hold them. That's the center, and then you stretch this side over to the end of the opening. And then you're going to ease everything in. So, can seem really fiddly and like it doesn't match. But that's why they put all those notches. So you'll know that you're matching. So I went to the end, and now I'm going to match this is my double notch. Very messy, but it's my double notch. And then let me just check. Yeah. Okay. And then this last couple of bits, and match up. Take this over. You're going to do the same thing to the other sleeve, making sure your double notches match with your double and your single match with your single. Then you're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and I believe everything on this pattern is 1/4 of an inch seam allowance with a stretch stitch, and then we'll be pressing the seam towards the sleeve. Okay, we've got the sleeves on, so it should look like this. And now the next step says okay. Step 3 says, with right sides of fabric together, sew the front sleeve seam together. Trim a triangular wedge from the cuff bottom edge of the seams. We may or may not need to do that depending on the cuff. So we want the right sides together. We are going to it shows the notch coming off of here, and that would be for the hem, so we don't need to do that. So when you have seams, you want to match them up as close as possible, especially because you want the cuffs to line up. And then there's a notch here and a notch. I'm assuming that's a notch there. Don't mind my cat. She's eating plastic or something. Got another seam here, and this is the sleeve seam, and we want these going towards the sleeve. So we're going to cut this off from here. So you've got this, and we want this to go this way. Just double check that. Okay. So just gonna go to there. Do the same on the other side. Go ahead and sew this, and we don't have to clip that notch off of the hem like it says. So the sleeve is on, and you can press if you want to. You don't want to trim this off because we're going to take it later and bring it to the sewing machine and just put a zigzag stitch to hold that in place and cut off any extra. My sewing machine is not prepared right now, so I'll do that after. You can cut this one off though. Okay. And I did check it to make sure there were no holes or skip spots. We don't. Let's see. Yes. The next step says, with right sides together, sew the center front seam together. Okay, now this could be bulky, so I'm thinking I might use the sewing machine for that because it goes right down the middle of their chest, and if you have big serger seams, it could be a little bulky. So first we'll get it all together. So we can get our sleeves out of the way. We are going to line up our notches. This one has 2 notches because I guess the belly is considered the back. And then we want to join these seams as close and as we can. Match them up as close as we can. Here's our stitch, and you can go ahead and trim the seam allowance, or you can press it open. I'm just going to trim this extra here and this bulk. There. I'll get rid of this. And we're going to try to press these seams. There. That's we can. So the next step is, with the right sides of the fabric, sew the center front seam of the collar together, and then we want to fold it over. So because we know we're going to fold it over, we're going to take this collar You can tell by the curling that this is the right side. And we're going to fold it over, fold it to the long edges just to get that fold. Folded it in half, and it has notches, but it doesn't have one in the center that I can see. So you hold it at the seam, and then you go out, and you can mark it. Says with right sides of the fabric, slip the collar over the neck opening, match the chest seam and the collar seam, and then pin together. So you take your neck opening, which has the seam and it has 2 notches. This one also doesn't have a center notch right here. So we're just going to hold the seam, match the notches, and then come all the way out and put a little clip. So we start at the seam, put this over it like this. So now this is what it kind of looks like. You're going to match the 2 seams, which I'm glad I did on the sewing machine because it makes them not bulky. So the neckline seam with the collar seam, and then you're going to clip that there. Just knock something over. We want to match that notch we just made, the center. Okay. And we have our notch from cutting and a notch from might have cut this neckband a little bigger. That's okay. Be less to stretch. Everything's all matched up. So in a spot like this, you need to stretch the neckband to get it to fit. This one seems fine. This one's fine. It's not clipped together. So sometimes you have a lot of stretching to do. Sometimes it's just a tiny bit where you have to stretch. And you always keep the part that you have to stretch on the top so you can watch it. So if it's underneath, you won't know if you're stretching it enough. So I'm going to go sew that. And then while I'm there, I'm also going to prepare the belly band the same way the neckband was prepared. So belly band. uncurling is impossible. Got the belly band right sides together, bring the short raw edges together, and give those a stitch too while I'm over there doing the neckband. So the next step is with the right sides together, sew the belly band onto the belly opening, stretching the belly band to fit. Press the seam down. Something about a ribbon, I guess, if you wanted to put a bow on. So I already prepared my belly band. So I made myself a center notch, which then you want to take this, match up your notches so it's in half, and give it a little snip. It's just one extra point to match that belly band up to. You match the part with the seam. Up here to this center front seam. All 3 layers together. Then I would go to the center. Up my notches, and same thing with this notch and the notches on the belly band. This is good practice for neck bands, waistbands, and cuffs on a regular shirt, human size. Because if you quarter and you clip at the quarters, clip it all together, then you know where to stretch. The idea is to fill in this. So you have this much and then only this much belly band, and you stretch it until it fits. Some people will even stretch and pin and stretch and pin just so it's all together. Once you get the hang of it, you're stretching and holding it as you're sewing. You're probably going to serge this one because it's easier to stretch and hold it on the serger. There's lots of videos out there on how to do bands. Any kind of band teaches you the science of quartering and pulling until but not pulling the main fabric, you're pulling your belly band, neck band, etc. So let's go sew that up. Okay, there we go. That's the neck band and the belly band, and you want to press it at the seam up. I try to do it together, but, or you could go in a little bit at a time. Probably help if you have a ham, tailor's ham. You could, because it's rounded. That might help. So I want to give it a press. And then you just have to finish up those edges. Any serger tails. So I'll try to film a little bit of this sleeve trick. Otherwise, I gotta say, now that this is my second time making one of these, it already seems easier because I know the steps of garment construction. It just makes it a little bit easier, and then it'll make you want to jump right into making anything else, your own clothes included. So there we go. I wish I had a dog to model it. My dog's too big. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. See you soon.